I'm sorry, what'd you say? Have you ever had anyone ask you, what do you say, when you were speaking in English? Maybe this was because your pronunciation was not clear or understandable enough. Well, I have some good news. In today's English lesson, you are going to level up your English pronunciation skills in 1 hour. Amazing. Hi, I'm Vanessa from SpeakEnglishWithVanessa.com. Today, you are going to go through some of my top most popular pronunciation lessons so that you can speak clearly and understandably and like an American. Like always, I've created a free PDF worksheet for you, which includes all of today's pronunciation, sample sentences, and ideas to help you use this the next time that you have an English conversation. And at the bottom of the worksheet, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question. There is a link in the description. You can click on that link to download the free PDF worksheet today. All right, let's start improving your American English pronunciation now. Let's go. Have you ever watched an English TV show or movie and thought, oh my goodness, they're speaking so fast, it's just one long word? Well, today I have some good news for you. Today I'm going to be helping you with some common English phrases and sentences and questions, how to combine them, how native English speakers make them quick and fast so that you can pronounce them like this yourself if you feel like it, but also to help you be able to understand fast English. You're going to be pronouncing these 8 fast sentences in English in no time. Let's get started. Our first 5 sentences include some kind of reduction with the word you. Let's take a look at our first sentence. What do you think? But do you think that we really say it this slowly? What do you think? Absolutely not. I just bought this new dress. What'd you think? What is happening in the middle of this question? Let's break it down. There are a couple different ways that we can reduce this question, so let's talk about the first one. What do you think? What do you think? Here, the final T on the question word what is cut off. We just say what. And then instead of saying do with a nice ooh sound, instead it sounds like duh. What duh? And then the next word you is going to have a similar sound. What do ya? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Can you say that with me? What do you think? What do you think? But would you imagine that we can reduce this even more? Yup. You will definitely hear in English movies and TV shows people say, I just bought this new dress. What do you think? What do you think? What is happening to the verb do? Listen carefully. I just bought this new dress. What do you think? What do you think? Do is just gone. It's completely absent from the sentence. It's off on vacation somewhere. So you can say, what ya think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Our second question is, where did you get it? But do you think we say it like this? Where did you get it? No. If English speakers spoke like this, then you probably wouldn't be here because you'd already be able to understand fast English because it would just be slow English. So let's see how this is actually said. I love that dress. Where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? Let's break this down. Where'd. Where'd. This is a contraction of where and did. Where'd ya? This is you. Where'd ya? And then our final 2 words we're gonna link together. Get it. Get. Where's that D coming from? Get. Get it. Well, in American English, when there is a T between 2 vowels, we often change that T to a D sound. This is going to be extremely common in American English, and it's going to help you to pick up on fast words like sweater, water. These are common examples of a T changing to a D. And finally, in this question, there's one more thing we need to mention. Listen to the final sound of the question. Where'd you get it? It. Do you hear it? Nope. Listen one more time. Where do you get it? Where do you get it? That final T is not really pronounced. Your tongue is going to be in the same place as if you're going to make a T sound, but instead of letting that air flow out, your tongue just stops on the top of your mouth. That's why we call this a stopped T. Can you say those final two words with me? Get it, get it, get it. All right, let's put it all together, and I want you to say this out loud with me. Where do you get it? Where do you get it? Where do you get it? Now, sometimes we reduce this a little bit further, and the entire rest of the sentence sounds the same except for the word you. Sometimes we say where'd ya instead of where'd ya. This is the difference between ya and ja. Where'd ya get it? Where'd ya get it? Where'd you get it? Oh, I like that dress. Where'd you get it? Where'd ya? So that's the one main difference here between these two different reductions, and you're gonna hear both of them. So now I hope that you'll be able to understand them. Let's go to our next one. Sentence number 3, or I guess question number 3 is, are you doing okay? This is a very kind question you can ask someone who you feel like might be having a hard time in life. It's the year 2020, so a lot of people are in this situation, and it's a kind question you can ask, and you will also hear other people asking. But do they say, are you doing okay? No. This is often reduced in a couple different ways within the sentence, so let's talk about it. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Here we have kept the word are, but then you, listen carefully, are ya doing okay? Does that sound familiar? We already talked about how sometimes you becomes ya, and this is extremely common as we're speaking quickly and talking with people in a comfortable situation. Are ya? And then listen to our verb, doing okay. What's happening with the G at the end? Doing. It's gone. It is on vacation. So make sure that we say, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? We can reduce this even further by cutting off our first verb, are. You doing okay? You doing okay? Say that with me. You doing okay? I haven't seen you for a while. You doing okay? You doing okay? Fast sentence number 4. Did you eat yet? Did you eat yet? But do you think we say it like this? Nope. Instead, we're gonna reduce this in a couple different ways. So you might say, when I visit my grandma's house, she always asks me, did you eat yet? But she doesn't say it like that. Instead, she says, did ya eat yet? Did ya eat yet? Here the word you is being reduced to ya. Did ya eat yet? And also notice what's happening with the two final words, eat and yet. They both end in T, so think back to another rule about T that we talked about. Eat yet. My tongue is stopped at the top of my mouth and I'm not letting that air pass through. Listen to the full sentence. Did ya eat yet? Did ya eat yet? Can you say that with me? Did ya eat yet? We can reduce this another time and say, did ya? Did ya eat yet? Say it with me. Did ya eat yet? Did ya eat yet? And then we can reduce this one final time, and this is, I think, one of my favorites. Growing up, my family sometimes used to laugh about this because it's reduced so much it doesn't sound like any English word, but in the right context, you can totally understand it. What if I said to you, jeet yet? It sounds so weird. Jeet yet? Jeet yet? This means, did you eat yet? But we are reducing this again and again and again. If you remember, we just talked about did ya, making you into j, a j sound. So that's what's happening here, but we're dropping did and we're keeping j and then eat. Jeet yet? Did you eat yet? Jeet yet? Jeet yet? Now, if you are uncomfortable using these extremely reduced versions of English sentences yourself, that's no problem. One of the biggest benefits to knowing these types of reductions is being able to understand other people when they use them. So I want to give you these tools in your figurative English toolbox so that you can understand people. If you're watching a movie and they say, "Jeet yet?" Before this lesson, you would have thought, what in the world did they say? But now you know that they're asking, did you eat yet? So you have that tool in your toolbox to know how they're saying this, what they're saying, and how they're reducing it. Sentence number 5 is, I'll text you later. I'll text you later. We often use this if we just want to get in touch with a friend later. Maybe you don't have the information they're asking about. You don't know if you're free on Saturday to get together. So you're gonna go home, look at your calendar, and then you'll text them later. So let's break down how we can say this sentence. I'll text you later. I'll text ya later. Did you notice what we're doing here? You is becoming, listen again, I'll text ya later. It's becoming ya again. As you can tell, this is a very common reduction of the word you. I'll text you later. We have another reduction that's happening here. What is that first word? I'll. This is simply a contraction of I plus will. The future tense in English, I'll text you later. Listen to our final word, later. Later. There's a T, but it sounds like a D. Is this happening again? Yes. Here we have a T between two vowels, and so the word later doesn't sound like ter, later. Instead, it's going to sound like later, later. Can you say that full sentence with me? I'll text ya later. I'll text you later. We can even reduce this a little bit more, especially in an informal situation, and drop the subject altogether. You might just say, text you later. This is kind of like when you say goodbye to someone and you say, see you later. You're dropping, I'll see you later. We just say, see you later, talk to you later. This is the similar idea, but you can say, text you later. Okay, text you later. I'll get back in touch with you. Text ya later. For our final 3 fast sentences, we're going to be talking about reducing contractions even more and sometimes cutting out verbs completely. Let's go to sentence number 6. I don't get it. I don't get it. This verb to get means to understand, and we often use this for jokes. So if someone tells a joke, you might say, I don't get it. This means you don't understand why it's funny. So they might have to explain it to you, and this is something that's common. As you're learning another language, there's probably a lot of twists of language or jokes and different things that people will say that you won't understand why it's funny or why it was interesting or why it was sad. So you might need to say this, hey, I'm sorry, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me? That's perfectly fine. But let's break down the pronunciation of how you can reduce I don't get it. Our first way is to say, I don't get it. I don't. This is a negative contraction, do not, and that T is just gonna be stopped at the top of your mouth. Don't. So you're making a slight N sound, but you wanna make sure that that T is stopped. Don't. I don't. And then we're gonna link together, get it. Do you notice here a T is between 2 vowels? Even though they're different words, it's okay. It's still between 2 vowels. We're going to link them together. Not get it, but get it. What's happening with the word it? Here, that word it has a stopped T at the end. So it's just it. My tongue is stopped at the top of my mouth. Do you think we can put all of this together? I know it's a short sentence, but isn't it amazing how so many pronunciation tips can be packed into one short sentence? All right, let's say it all together. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But you might have imagined we can reduce the contraction don't even further. Listen to this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. What's happening to the D here? I don't. It's just gone. Sometimes we just cut it out when we're speaking really fast. So you might hear, I don't, and that is I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. The final part is the same as before. We're changing the T to a D, get, and then it is a stopped T, get it. But that first part with the vowel, listen again. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. So you're gonna hear people say this in movies and TV shows really fast. If someone says something funny and the other person doesn't laugh, they might say, sorry, I don't get it. I don't get it. Sentence number 7 is, I have got to go to someplace. The store, my friend's house, work. But do we say it like that? Oh, I bet you wish that we did. But unfortunately, we reduced this many times. So let's talk about it from the beginning. First, we're going to make a contraction with I have. I've, and then we have got to. Got to implies a necessity. I have to do something. But got to means something very similar. But we can reduce these words together. Instead of saying I've got to, we can say gotta. We often write this in a text message or in a quick email as G-O-T-T-A, gotta. What's happening with the pronunciation? That T is changing to a D. Say it with me. I've gotta study English every day. I've gotta. The same thing is gonna happen with the next two verbs, go to the store. Instead of go to, we're gonna say, I've gotta go-da. I've gotta go-da the store. I've gotta go-da, that T is changing to a D. Say it with me. I've gotta go-da the store. I've gotta go to the store. Now, just to let you know, sometimes in American English, when there is a present perfect verb tense, like I have got to do something with the word have, sometimes we drop have completely, especially with got to. We might just say, I gotta go to the store. I gotta go to the store. Where are you going? Oh, I gotta go to work. I'm sorry, I'm late. I gotta go to. Our final sentence, number 8, is I'm about to plus some kind of verb. Like I'm about to pass out, I'm so hungry. Or I'm about to go to work. I'm about to do something. Let's reduce the beginning of this sentence. Our first word is a contraction, I'm, which is I am. I'm. Our next word, about. Sometimes we cut off the first letter A and just say bout. And then for the word to, sometimes instead of saying to, we say ta. You saw this previously with gotta, go to the store. Here it's the same thing. I'm about to pass out, I'm so hungry. I'm about to go to the store, I'm about to go to work, I'm about to do something. But we have one more reduction that we can have. Think about those two T's at the end of the word about and at the beginning of the word to. Those are two T's together, and on either side of that, what do you see? Oh, is that a vowel? That's right. There are T's surrounded by vowels, so what happens? We can change them to a D sound. And this is all gonna link together in one fast word. I'm bowda. I'm bowda. I'm bowda. Here, this D sound is the T that's been changed into a D. Actually, the two T's that have been changed into D's. Let's try to say this all together. I'm about to pass out. I'm so hungry. I'm about to pass out. I'm about to pass out. I'm so hungry. Great work practicing all 8 of these shortened, quick, reduced, fast sentences. I hope that this helped you to be able to understand some principles of English pronunciation and to level up your listening skills. Well, today I would like to help you with 5 common American English phrases that include key American English sounds. This lesson will help you to level up your vocabulary and also level up your pronunciation and understanding skills. So the next time that you hear these phrases and you hear American English speakers, you will know exactly what they're saying. And of course, like always, I have created a free PDF worksheet to go with today's lesson. You can download this worksheet and learn all of the pronunciation points, all of the sample sentences, all of the ideas, and at the bottom of the worksheet, you can answer Vanessa's challenge question so that you never forget what you've learned. You can click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet today. All right, let's get started with our first American English phrase and pronunciation point. Have you ever been looking at social media and you thought, the grass is always greener on the other side, and then you realized, maybe the grass isn't always greener on the other side. There's probably some hidden costs to all of these wonderful things that you're seeing online. And that's really the truth. Social media is not real. So this common phrase, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, means that the other person's life or something that you're not experiencing always looks better than what you currently have. But in reality, that's not really true. If you get to that other place, if you do that other thing, it's not always the paradise that you expect. So let's break down this pronunciation so that you can use this phrase and say it clearly. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Do you hear the sound that I emphasized? This is the R sound, or in American English, we often call this the colored R because it's very strong. Listen to it when I say the word grass. Grass. Does this remind you of an angry dog? Grrr, grrr. And this is a way to have the American English R sound. Can you say it with me? The grass. The grass. Let's add the rest of this phrase. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. So don't forget that hard R sound in the word greener at the end, and also in the word other. Having that strong colored R sound at the end of the word is essential in American English. Let's say this full phrase one more time, and I want you to try to say it with me. Are you ready? The grass isn't always greener on the other side. All right, let's go on to our second phrase and also our second American English pronunciation point. Are you someone who is always late? Well, it might be useful for you to use this phrase, better late than never. Better late than never. Unfortunately, I have had to use this many times. I am often late. Hopefully just by a few minutes, but it's still nice to apologize. And you can use this lovely phrase. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Better late than never. You can say it with a little joke in your voice. But let's break down this pronunciation. Better late than never. Listen to that word. Better. Is there a D in this word? Better? Are we talking about a bed that you go to sleep in? Nope. In American English, a T that is surrounded by vowels or vowel sounds will change to a D. Better. This is common in the word water, or maybe you're wearing a sweater. This is typical of American English. So when you use this phrase, make sure that you pronounce it like this. Better late than never. Our third American English phrase and American English pronunciation is included in this phrase. Don't get bent out of shape over it. Don't get bent out of shape over it. What's happening here? Well, there's one concept that we just talked about. Listen to the middle of this phrase. Out of shape. Here this T is changing to a D, but we've already talked about that. Don't get bent out of shape. So what else are we adding here? Listen carefully for another T sound. A lot of these words end in T, but as I say this phrase, I want you to listen to see if you can hear any of them. Do you hear T, when I say this phrase. Don't get bent out of shape over it. The sad news is no. All of these T's are what we call stopped T's. So it's not wrong to say don't get bent, but when you hear fast American English speakers, you're gonna hear them stop the T in their mouth. So let's take a look at this common contraction. Do not becomes don't, but when we pronounce it in a fast sentence, you're more likely to hear don't. My tongue is at the top of my mouth, like it's going to make that T shape, but I just don't let the air come out. Don't get, my tongue is stopped at the top of my mouth. I did not say get. Instead, I said get, and then the next word, bent, becomes bent. Don't get bent, and our next word is the linking with the D sound. Outa shape over it. And that final word, it, also has a stopped T. So that T is going to be at the top of my mouth. It. This is a lot. Let me give you the context and what this means, and then we'll say it together. Let's imagine that your friend's boss gives her some, we'll say, constructive criticism, some feedback that maybe didn't feel too great to get. You might say, hey, your boss was just trying to help. Don't get bent out of shape over it. She was just trying to give you some advice. It might not sound kind, and it's certainly not something you really wanted to hear, but don't get bent out of shape over it. You're not going to get fired. It's going to be okay. This means don't take something too seriously. So can you say this phrase with me? Yes, let's say it together. Don't get bent out of shape over it. Don't get bent out of shape over it. Don't get bent out of shape over it. It'll be okay. Our fourth American English phrase and American English pronunciation is included in this phrase. What goes around comes around. Let's talk about this pronunciation really quick. What goes around comes around. Here we have two instances where the S at the end of goes is followed by a vowel. So that S is going to sound like a Z in American English. What goes around comes around. And this phrase has to do with your behavior, if it's good or bad, like karma, will hopefully happen to you again too. Usually we use this in a negative sense to make ourselves feel a little bit better. So for example, if someone is not a nice person, you might say, well, what goes around comes around. Someday someone is going to be mean to him too. Or if one of your coworkers gets fired because they're always late, you might say, well, what goes around comes around. He didn't respect his job and this business. He was always late, so he got fired. His own actions ended up affecting him. You can use this with positive things like, I'm always nice to my friends, and when I need them, they also care for me. We could say what goes around comes around because your behavior is coming back to you, but it's more likely used in a negative situation. Bad behavior will come back to haunt you someday. So let's try to say this phrase together with the S changing to a Z so that you can use it clearly and accurately in conversations. Are you ready? What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Great work. Our final American English phrase and American English pronunciation point is this phrase. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Does this phrase exist in your language? I feel like this is kind of an international idea, that you're dealing with a problem and you know that some other problems might come in the future, but you don't want to think about them now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's focus on our current problems instead. Well, let's take a look at this pronunciation, especially that first word. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. You can say this contraction very clearly. We'll. We plus will is we'll. But in fast American English, we often reduce this in a relaxed way, and we say wool, wool. This is similar to these other contractions as well, like you'll, you'll. Instead of saying you will, we say you'll, you'll. And same as we will, wool. So could you say this with me? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. For my family, we raised 7 baby chicks, and we knew that having adult chickens would be a lot of work, but we kind of just said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's enjoy these baby chicks while we have them. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's say it all together. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Great work. All right, are you ready to get started with the first secret of American English pronunciation? Let's start. Have you heard this phrase before? The early bird catches the worm. This means that if you wake up early or you get started now, well, you will succeed. Only the birds that wake up early in the morning get the best worms. If you wait, if you procrastinate, well, too bad for you. You won't be able to succeed. But this wonderful phrase uses an important American English pronunciation point. There are 3 words, early, bird, and worm, that use a colored R. So in American English, this R is a strong, hard sound. Early, bird, worm. Do you see how that's almost like an angry dog? Worm, bird, early. Make sure that when you're using American English pronunciation, this colored R sound is hard. Phrase number 2 that uses key American English pronunciation is this one. Have you ever heard someone say, your guess is as good as mine? Your guess is as good as mine. This means that the other person has no clue. Maybe you could say, I don't know how to get to the beach. Your guess is as good as mine. But there is something important happening with the pronunciation of this phrase. At the end of the word guess and at the end of the word is, there is an S. But in American English pronunciation, we often link the S with the vowel next to make a Z sound. So listen carefully when I say this phrase. Your guess is as good as mine. It sounds a lot like zzz. And that's what's happening here. We are linking together the S plus a vowel from the next word. Try to say it with me. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue. Your guess is as good as mine. Key phrase number 3 that uses American English pronunciation is this fun one. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Have you ever been trying to help someone and then they complain about how you're helping them? You can use this phrase and say, hey, don't bite the hand that feeds you. I'm just trying to help you. Well, it's the same idea. If you argue with your boss, if you yell at your boss, he's the one that gives you your paycheck. So don't bite the hand that feeds you. But there is important American English pronunciation here that happens 3 times. Don't, bite, and then a little later in the sentence is the word that. What is similar between all 3 of these words? It's the letter T. Listen when I say this contraction. Don't, don't. Do you hear don't with that puff of air coming out? Nope. In American English, oftentimes a T at the end of words will be cut off. We call this a stopped T because your mouth is making that shape. Don't. My tongue is at the top of my mouth trying to make that T shape, but there's no puff of air that comes out. Listen carefully as I say this, and I want you to hear that stopped T. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You think you can say that with me? You can do it. Let's say this phrase together. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. All right, let's go to our next phrase. Has this ever happened to you before? You invite a lot of people over to your house and you think, it's gonna be a fun party, it's great. And then it just becomes so many people in your house, so much chaos, and you have to say this. Oh no, I think it's gonna get out of hand. This doesn't mean that anything is really in your hand and it's getting out of your hand. Instead, this means it's getting out of control. But this phrase, get out of hand, uses an important American English pronunciation tip, which is that the T at the end of words, another T tip, that has a vowel next often changes to a D sound. So listen when I say this. The party will get out of hand. The word get is surrounded by vowels. There's a vowel on either side. G, E, T, and then the next word starts with an O. So that T is surrounded by vowels, and that means that it's gonna change to a D sound. Get out, and then it's gonna happen with out and of. Outa. In fact, the word of changes to just Get outa hand. Can you say it with me? The party will get outta hand. The party will get out of hand if you invite 50 people over to your house. All right, let's go to our last American English pronunciation tip. Has it ever happened to you that you travel abroad and then you realize that you're just meeting people from your own home country? It's like you're magnetic towards each other. Well, we could use this phrase, birds of a feather flock together. And this means that common things are attracted to each other, for better or for worse. So there is a key American English pronunciation point we can talk about with this phrase. We already talked about the word bird and how it uses that colored R, that hard R sound. Bird. And there is another R tip in this phrase as well. Look at the end of the word feather and together. Here is an ER and it's gonna be a strong R sound. Feather, together. Again, pretend that you are an angry dog and try to make that hard R sound. Feather, together. Can you say this wonderful idiom with me? Birds of a feather flock together. Wonderful. So if you can use all 5 of these American English pronunciation points, you will sound more American, and it will also help you to understand American English speakers when they're talking, which is wonderful when you're watching a movie or TV show. So I guarantee the next time you hear these wonderful idioms, you will think, oh, I learned that in Vanessa's lesson. Yes, now I understand it and I know how they're pronouncing it, and I can do it too. Do you have good pronunciation? How do you know? The best way to test your pronunciation is to speak with someone else and see if they can understand you, because understanding is the purpose of pronunciation and of speaking. But unfortunately, here on YouTube, I can't listen to you. Maybe YouTube will create that technology someday in the future. So for now, I'd like to give you a different type of pronunciation test. The next best way to test your pronunciation is to shadow or imitate exactly after a native speaker, so that you can see if your pronunciation is similar to mine, is it different, what are the specific areas that are difficult for you. I'm going to be testing your pronunciation on 16 challenging words, but the best way to test your pronunciation is not with individual words, but with a whole sentence. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a challenge sentence that uses 4 difficult words, and this is what I want you to do. I want you to say that sentence out loud before I talk about anything. This is your original pronunciation. I want you to hear your original pronunciation. And then I'm going to read that sentence, but I'm going to mispronounce one word. I want you to guess which word is mispronounced. There are sometimes multiple ways to pronounce each word, but I want you to be listening for what is the most natural way to pronounce each word in fast English. And finally, I'm going to be saying the sentence correctly, and I want you to be able to say it with me. So I want you to repeat the correct sentence with me. Are you ready to get started with sentence number 1? Let's do it. This is sentence number 1. I want you to say the sentence all by yourself. Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead, say it out loud. Okay, now I'm going to say the sentence and I'm going to mispronounce one word. Can you guess which word I mispronounce? I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. Which word did I say incorrectly? Did you hear clothes or clothes? You heard the second one, but really that's not correct. Instead, when we speak in fast English, we often pronounce close a lot like close the door. I buy clothes through the internet. All right, let's go through each of these challenging words and I want to help you say them correctly. That first word, buy. Buy. It sounds exactly like bye, see you later. Buy. And then we have close, which I just mentioned sounds a lot like close the door. Close the door. When native speakers are speaking a little bit slower, they might add a TH sound, clothes, clothes. You see how my tongue comes out a little bit for that TH? Clothes. But really, when we're speaking quickly, it just sounds like close, close. And then we have the word through. Oh, this word is lovely. We have a TH followed by an R. Let's practice it slowly. Your tongue is coming out between your teeth, and there's some air. That's a wonderful TH sound. Through. It sounds like I threw the ball. This is the past tense of throw. I threw the ball. So let's try to say this. Through, through. And then we have our final word, internet. What's happening to that middle T? Internet. You can say internet with a clear T if you're speaking a little bit slower, but when native speakers are speaking quickly, we're going to cut out that T completely and just say internet. Internet. Let's go back and try to say this full sentence clearly and naturally together. Are you ready? I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. Were you repeating with me? I hope so, because we've got 3 more challenge sentences and I want you to test your pronunciation. Let's go to number 2. Here's sentence number 2. I'm going to pause and I want you to try to say this sentence all by yourself. Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead. Okay, now I'm going to say it, but I'm going to mispronounce one word. Can you guess which word is incorrect? A little girl took the recept to the bus. The little girl took the recept to the bus. Which word is wrong? Did you hear receipt or recept? You heard number 2, but that's not correct. Instead, the P is silent. So you're going to say receipt, receipt. Just completely forget about that P in there. All right, let's go through each of these challenging words because I want to make sure that you can pronounce them correctly. The first one is little, little. Do you see there's 2 T's in the middle of this word? But really in American English, those T's are going to become D sounds. So it's going to sound like little, little, like a lid that you put on a container, little. And then we have girl. A lot of these words, girl, world, early, those words can be a little bit tricky, so let's break this one down. Girl, girl. When you want to talk about the sound that an angry dog makes, you could say grr, grr, and then we're going to add ul at the end. Girl, girl, girl. Notice that my mouth isn't really moving here. It's all inside my mouth and in my throat. Girl, girl. And with the L, my tongue is coming beside my teeth. Girl. It's right there. Girl, girl. All right, and the next word is receipt, receipt, receipt. Receipt. This is the piece of paper that you get after you make a purchase. The cashier will give you a receipt. And then our final word is bus. Sometimes this short U sound can be a little bit tricky, so I want to make sure you're not saying bus, bus, boss. Make sure you say bus, bus, bus. All right, let's go back and say this full sentence together. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. Did you say that with me? Let's say it one more time. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. Great work. Let's go on to the next challenge sentence. All right, here's sentence number 3. I want you to say it all by yourself. Are you ready? Test your original pronunciation. Go ahead. Okay, now it's my turn. I'm going to mispronounce one word. Listen carefully. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. Which one of these challenge words did I mispronounce? Did you hear warm or warm? You heard that second one, but that's not correct. Instead, the word warm has just one syllable, not warm. Instead, warm. Warm. Notice how my lips are in an O shape. Warm. Warm with a clear R. Warm. All right, let's go through each of these challenge words so that you can say them correctly. The first one is early. This is similar to what we talked about with girl. Early. Let's break it into 2 sections. And then lee. Early. Make sure that when you say the L, your tongue is touching the back of your teeth. Lee. Early. Early. Don't add another sound in there. I often hear English learners say early, early, but that in the middle isn't natural. So let's make sure you say early and put it together. Early. Next we say winter. What is happening to the T in the middle of this word? You might hear native speakers say winter with a clear T if they're enunciating clearly and maybe speaking a little slowly. It's fine to do that, but when native speakers speak fast, you're going to hear winter. Winter. When's the Winter Olympics? Winter. This is the same as a winner and a loser. It's the same pronunciation, so make sure that the context helps you to know which word it is. Does this sound familiar? Internet, winner. Yeah, we're cutting out that T, especially when there's an NT in the middle of a word. Internet, internet, winter, winner. You're going to hear that a lot in fast English. Next we have the word didn't. But this is the clear pronunciation. When native speakers are speaking quickly, we do not say didn't with each sound pronounced. Instead, you're going to hear didn't. There's a lot going on here in your throat. Didn't. So that final D is cut short, and the final T as well is cut. So it's really going to be just your throat. Can you say that with me? Didn't. If you have trouble pronouncing or hearing or understanding contractions, it's probably because we cut off a lot of those sounds, we reduce them. That's something that's natural in English. I made a video about how to pronounce 81 different contractions. You can check it out up here because this happens to a lot of different contractions, and I want to make sure you can pronounce them, but also that you can understand them. The difference between a positive word, did, and didn't is very important when you're having a conversation. All right, let's go to the last word. Warm. 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 Make sure that this is one syllable. Warm. Warm. Do you think you can put all of these words together? You got it. Let's say it together. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. Great work. All right, let's go to the final challenge sentence. Here's our final challenge sentence. Can you say this all by yourself? Go ahead. Now it's my turn. I'm gonna mispronounce one word. I want you to guess which one it is. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Which word is incorrect? Did you hear thought or sought? You heard the second one, sought. But does this word start with an S? No. Instead, it starts with a TH. So you need to make sure that your tongue is between your teeth and there's that stream of air coming through. Through. We already talked about that word. Thought. Thought. All right, let's go through each of these challenge words so that you can pronounce them correctly. What's happening with this word definitely? Definitely. I feel like words like definitely, certainly, probably, those words can be a little bit tricky. I talked about some of those in this pronunciation lesson up here, but the word definitely we use a lot, and you probably would like to use a lot, but you need to pronounce it correctly. So let's break it down. Definitely. 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 It's definitely a beautiful day. This is definitely a helpful lesson. I hope so. The next word is that lovely word we just talked about, thought. Thought. Make sure that your tongue is between your teeth. I often hear English learners switching an S and a TH sound, sought instead of thought. And in some situations, this could be a little bit difficult for other English speakers to understand you, so make sure that you say this correctly. Thought, thought. And then we have the word water, water. What's the sound that you hear in the middle of this word? Water, water. Well, it's not a T sound, water. Instead, it's a D. Here we have again, the T is changing to a D. This is typical in American English. Water, water. I want you to say that with me. Water, water. And finally, we have the word beach. Beach. A lot of you are concerned that you might say a rude word instead. So let's practice that vowel sound. It needs to be a long E. Beach, beach, beach. And really, the context here is going to help you a lot. So when we're talking about the water at the beach is salty, you're most likely talking about the ocean, the sea. You're not talking about a rude word. So I think the context is going to help you a lot. But make sure that when you pronounce it, you say E, beach. All right, let's go back and say that full sentence. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Great work. I hope that you had a chance to say that sentence out loud with me and test your pronunciation. Are you ready for a final challenge? We're going to go back and say all 4 of those sentences, and I want you to say them out loud with me. I'm going to say them 2 times so that you can listen and then you can also repeat. Are you ready? Let's say them together. I buy clothes through the internet. I buy clothes through the internet. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. The little girl took the receipt to the bus. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. In the early winter, I didn't miss the warm weather. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. I definitely thought the water at the beach was salty. Congratulations! In 1 hour, you have improved. You have leveled up your American English pronunciation skills. Don't forget to download the free PDF worksheet, which includes all of today's pronunciation tips, sample sentences, and ideas so that you can use them in the real world. Click on the link in the description to download that free PDF worksheet today. And I'll see you again next Friday for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye! But wait, do you want more? I recommend watching this video next. You will join over 4 million English learners around the world who have improved their pronunciation skills by imitating the top 10 sentences in English. You don't want to miss it, and I'll see you there.